Hey guys and girls, welcome to this week's episode of the No BS With Birchy podcast. I'm your host Nathan Birch, and this is a show unraveling the truth to the facade of the 21st century. We're now exiting the matrix and waking up with motherfucking reality. It's the first time I've had Linda on the podcast and she's very nervous, right?
Yep.
No, high five. Don't be nervous, right? Don't be nervous. I've never seen Linda this nervous beforehand. I have, but not, not this shy, right? Linda, thanks for coming on the podcast. This is like really big that you're here, right? And it's like really cool. Like we're 160 episodes down and you haven't made it on here, right? A lot of people, like we had an event recently and people come up to me and were like, oh, Linda's here. I can't believe she still works for you. I've watched Linda on Kochie. Kochie was a dickhead, right? He was a prick to Linda, right? And I've seen your story from all these years ago. And, you know, you're killing it, right? And you've just been quiet and you've just been sitting there and, you know, your position was set a decade ago. Right? Yep. You created a cool portfolio and, I wanted to get you on the podcast. And, I just feel really great that you've come on, right? It's a big thing. It's like you pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to be in front of a camera. Mm-hmm. Linda went on a camera once and a bit of a backstory with Linda. I'll get Linda to talk about her journey. She's got a fucking terrific portfolio and a beautiful story. But she went on the news once and I used to go on the news. Some of the people you don't realise I was on TV and stuff all the time, right? I used to be on the TV all the time. I had Linda come on. She bought like 20 properties and then Kochie's there grilling into her saying, oh, well, how much debt are you in? You're going to be scared. You're going to go broke, right? And I find it amazing because all the people looked at it and was like, Kochie's a dick to Linda, right? Who's this Linda chick? Go Linda. She's done amazing things. And then like, it was just ugly. But the reality of it is like, you've like 10 years later, like Kochie's been getting up at like 3 a.m. in the morning, watching the cash cow, whatever. I don't know, right? I don't watch TV, right? But the funny thing is that your portfolio's probably earned more than he has just every year, just the properties going up and, you know, building your wealth. So, it is big. So thanks for coming on the podcast, welcome. Linda. Linda, when did we meet?
Back in 2011, I think. 2011, yeah. Yep.
13 years ago, right? We didn't have any grey hair, neither of us.
I had a little bit.
You had a little bit? Okay. You hit it. Your Asian genes hit it, right? But for me, I've just got a face full of grey hair now. But it's we met 13 years ago. I was doing a seminar just up the street. Did you know what a podcast was 13 years ago?
No.
There was no such thing as a podcast. Did you have Facebook 13 years ago? Probably had Facebook.
It took me a long time to go on, yes.
Yeah. You get Facebook, but there was no video streaming. YouTube was a thing that was fairly new, maybe 2-3 years old. And your phone didn't have mobile like viewing. You didn't communicate. You'd text someone. Mm-hmm. Email wasn't attached to your phone. The world was a very different place. And we had a room with about 500 people. I was doing a seminar. Mm-hmm. I was talking about, I was with one of our mates, Daniel at the time, that we were talking about, you know, how we'd built our portfolio. I was at like a couple hundred properties. Daniel was at like 50, no, I say a couple hundred
80.
properties. Like, yeah, like, how many properties did I have? I don't know.
Back then, I think it's 120,
Is
150.
Like yeah, I didn't have as many as I do now, but it's like, it was a long time ago. And we're doing a presentation talking about how to buy property and build a portfolio of 10 properties. And I remember Linda came up afterwards and there was like 100 people wanting to ask me questions. It was like we had the rooms, every room had to be extended to fit everyone in the room, right? We would overpack the hotel. And Linda came up and said, I want to buy a property. I'm friends of you're friends of a mutual friend that we have. And you said, what should I do? And she had this little bag, right? And it was, I won't say the company name, but it was an off-the-plan sales company. And they were selling these things called NRAS properties that you were looking at. And Linda was like, should I buy this property? And I looked at it and she had a brochure or some shit. I said, listen, I don't know you, never met you beforehand. But if I never see you again, just don't buy that thing. It's going to fuck you up, right? Mm. We talked about buying properties below market value, upside for growth and a strong cash flow. And I said, this thing here doesn't tick those boxes, and I was a piece of crap. And if you look back at NRAS properties, I don't know anyone that made any money on an NRAS property. They were sold expensive because the government give little grants back and stuff like that. But all the people that bought them did their ass. And we pick up properties today that are NRAS. Someone paid $400 10 years ago, and we buy it brand like 10 years old now, and we pick it up for $200, and we can kick the tenant out and push the rent up to real market rent, and it's positive cash flow and the value goes up. It's just a real shit sort of investment. And Linda, I'll let her share her story, but about 2 weeks later, we were chatting on a phone, doing a map session, and she bought, how many properties did you buy in a quick period of time? What was the first batch?
First, I remember coming on board and I said to you I was going to buy one every 6 months.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, I'll buy two.
One every 6 months, scared client, right?
So I wanted 10, so it was going to be a 5-year plan. You presented me with one. We said yes. And then within a couple of hours, you said, you might as well buy the second one. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And then before those two settled, you said, okay, I've got another one for you. You might as well buy 3 of those. So we bought 3 of those, and that was within that first month.
5 in a month?
Yep. And then by the time we're 3 months in, we ended up with 10. So that was my 10 in 5 years all done.
So 10 properties, 3 months. I've got lots of questions around that, right? So 10 properties, 3 months. Did you have heaps of money, Linda? Like, how did it happen? Like, were you on stupid income at the time? Like,
No. We're just your average mum and dad.
Mum and dad.
2 kids.
Just crossing the six figure threshold as a family, 2 kids. Buying positive cash flow properties. The market was very different today than what it was back then. What was your journey before that? Like, what did you bought 10 properties in 3 months and you're on 6 figures of the family income, like just crossed it, right? I'm not going into specifics here. Like, it's not stupid money. And then from that, like, what did you come to us with?
We had, how much did we have? We probably had a bit over 100.
100K?
To get started.
But did you own a house already?
So we've got 1 unit and our principal home.
Okay. And me and Linda go back like 13 years, so we just say shit.
I actually heard about you 2 years before I even started with you.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Through our friend?
Through our friend.
Okay, yeah.
But we weren't ready to start then. My dad was sick.
Yeah.
So with the money that we had, we were going to renovate our home.
Yeah.
Put an extra bathroom, extra bedroom, have mum and dad live with us.
Yeah.
So we thought once that's done, then we'll start our journey with you. But during that 2 years, every builder that we met fell through. Every architect fell through.
Yeah.
That's when I just said to my husband, I think this isn't going to work. We've been doing it for 2 years now and nothing started. And I said, let's give this guy a go and let's go to that seminar and see what happens.
What you came to me with a sleek fucking slide deck of a presentation that the person was trying to sell you. It'd be really cool if you found it one day.
I think I chucked it.
Oh, okay.
We didn't go ahead. It wasn't.
Yeah. Okay, it'd be cool.
I don't want to be a
momentum,
hoarder.
Right?
Yeah.
But you'll hoard properties, right?
Yes.
So we go way back then, and the things we talk about, it's like real dry, like just it is what it is, right? Your mindset growing up, debt, culturally, like buying 10 properties, getting into debt, how did you feel like compared to what you were told as a kid? Cash, don't buy things debt.
Being Asian, our life is you buy a home, you pay it off, and then you just work till you retire and you die. Yeah. So mum and dad paid off their home. They were blue-collared workers, put us through Catholic school, so they did it tough.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, I guess since I was 21, all I ever want to do was retire.
Yeah.
And I've done Amway, I've done Avon, I've done everything that you can potentially do to find a way to financial freedom.
Yeah.
Nothing worked.
Yeah.
So when we got married, we bought a unit.
Yeah.
And then after that, we bought a house so I can have a dog.
Did you have a dog? Did you ever buy a dog?
Of course, we had Tia.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Yeah,
Okay,
we had Tia.
okay.
Yeah, so that was the bribe. So I wanted to live in the city. So I wanted to live at Balmain in one of the terraces. But Loy said, look, if we move outer west, we'll buy a house so you can have your dog.
Okay.
So we did that, and that's when the first place that we bought our unit, it almost doubled in price. Yeah. So that's when I said to him, I said, this property thing might work. We might need to do something with this. So we started looking for a property.
Yeah.
This is before Dad was sick. We started looking, and we find the stuff that you find.
Yeah.
So my husband finds it, and he's calling these agents, and no one ever calls him back.
Okay.
And then he's like, "This thing's not working." He goes, "How come no one calls me back?" And I'm like, "Well, I guess you've got to be someone they know. So you're just a number. You're just a person leaving a message out of 300. No wonder they don't call us back. The good ones, that is, the good properties." So then we tried. We looked for years, and then that didn't work. So then we started having children. Yeah. Dad got sick. Yeah. So that's when we went, you know what? We're getting older. Life is short. Yeah. If we don't do something soon, we're going to end up like mum and dad. That's paid off their home, fantastic. But then they're struggling. They're on the pension. Yeah. So I don't know if we're going to have pension by the time we retire. So we wanted to do something, and that's where we started hearing about you. Yeah. I still remember when I started with you, and one of your team members said to me, "Okay, you got to pay this fee. Yeah. It's called a buyer's agency fee." And I said to her, I go, "What's that?" Because I've never heard of it. I didn't know you pay for a fee. And my husband actually said to me, "Why do we pay him this fee when we can do it ourselves?" And I said, "That's great. We've been looking for 3 years. We couldn't find anything. Yeah. So maybe we'll pay this fee and see what happens. And if it's good, we'll keep going with you. Yeah. If it's no good, we've got an extra property under our belt, and we're how many short? We're 8 short to the 10 that we want." So that was the goal. Yeah. And
13 years ago, had you ever heard of what a buyer's agent is? There was no such thing as a buyer's agent. Now there's buyer's agents everywhere. They do courses on how to make money as a buyer's agent, as a side gig. Like people that don't even own property are now buyer's agents. But it's just funny, the landscape's different. Like when you say that, like people like buyer's agents would have always been here. Everyone would have an iPhone, right? The refrigerator's been here forever. It's like, it's just that's cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And so your goal was to get to 10. We got to 10 in 3 months. Mm-hmm. We built it out from there. We're not going to go into full deep dive into Linda's. We're not going to go and investigate all of her properties and pull them all apart, right? Because it's big getting you on here today. I think it's really cool because, there's so many people that follow your story and they're like, "I remember Linda," right? And it's like people go, "I spoke to Linda 10 years ago," and they're just getting started now. Mm-hmm. So over the course of the last, say, 13 years, you've got a large portfolio. You've been a bit quiet on buying the last few years, right, which is cool. You're in the process. We're going to get you from where you are now to retire. You could retire tomorrow, right? You don't have to do your job, whatnot. You do work at B.Invested. How long have we been working together?
12 years.
12 years, right? Yep. Let's go through memory lane. Why did I employ you? What was your role? And what was the funny story about us?
Yes. So I was working in the city. Can I say where I worked?
I'll just say what type of business, but not names. So,
Okay. Finance then.
Finance company.
I was always in a finance. My whole...
You worked at Wizard. Back in the day. Yeah. That's what you're going to say, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the wine company.
No. Yeah. She's gone too. Yeah. So, my last big job was at Wizard, but then Aussie bought them out, so my position was made redundant. Then I was ready for baby number 2, so we had baby number 2, and then my whole, mindset changed. Didn't want to work in the city, didn't want a career, just wanted a job close to home. So if the kids were sick, I can go
pick them
up, do whatever a mum needs to do. Yeah. What was the question again?
No, how did we come to work for it?
Okay, that's right. And then when I worked locally, she things weren't working out with her. Yeah. Funny enough, I did some retail therapy that particular day. I went out, did some shopping, and your business partner bumped into me. Yeah. And at that time, we were in the process of buying property number 3. Yeah. And then I actually, bumped into him and just said, look, I'm really upset at work, so I'm going to do a bit of retail therapy, do a bit of shopping, so I can go home a bit happier. And he said, well, look, come and see me and Nathan and let's have a chat. And then I went, okay, that's cool. So I came and saw both of you. That was at the office at Virgin Gym Building. You both had separate offices. And I remember seeing Dan, and then Dan goes, look, why don't you come and work for us and do this particular role? So he explained this role to me, and it was whatever it was meant to be. And then he had to go, he had to do a map session. And then he said, go talk to Nathan and have a chat with him. So I came into your office and I started talking to you. And then you said to me, okay, come and work for us. But you gave me a completely different role to what your business partner told me. And I said, okay, maybe you two need to have a chat first and then let me know what you want me to do. I can do both the roles, but I don't know what you want me to do. And then that evening you actually called me at 10 o'clock and you said to me, come have a chat. And I remember saying to my husband, I was actually in my tracky dacks. I was just going to come down the office to see you in my tracky dacks. I thought we were going to talk about the property that I was going to buy. And then my husband said to me, babe, I think you need to get change. I think this is a job interview. I'm like, no one interviews at 10:30 at night. Like, who does that? And I said, no. I reckon they're going to talk to me about the property and say, please, just go, not please, go ahead, buy it. You be fine. Anyway, I got changed. I came to see you guys. You or your business partner actually said to me, they go, you got dressed up for us. And I'm like, yeah, Lieu told me to dress up for you. And then it ended up being a semi-job interview. So you asked me about what I do, what I want in life, what are my goals. And I said to them, okay, if this is a job interview, I didn't bring my resume. And you said, oh, don't worry about it. We like you. We know you like talking to people. Why don't you come work for us? And you can share your journey with other people. And then I started.
And I think as a business, because I want to go and do another podcast just specifically on business, but there's been a lot of learnings over the years. And when I first started the business, it was more like, okay, cool, it's just a hobby, that sort of thing. And then now I realize there's the processes, systems. I had to learn to be corporate because of the amount of staff employ and all that sort of stuff. And it's been a big journey. And I remember when we were looking to employ, I had a business partner back in the day, Daniel. A lot of you guys remember him as well. He's retired, lives life on his terms now, and he loves traveling and all that. And with it, I remember saying to him, I'd be doing deals, and I'm like, you did 10 map sessions last week. He was doing one-on-one map sessions with people, 50 in a month, right? And I'd be like, oh, I've got a deal. Who'd buy it? And he goes, I don't know. We're not salespeople. We're not going to sell anything to people. I'm like, difference between, so someone would come for a map session and he goes, this is what you need to do. See you later, right? And then they'd leave, right? And I'm like, no, we need to find a property. And that's where we needed the role for customer service. We had no customer service. We've never even still to this day, don't even have a sales team per se, right? And you came on board and helped us with the customer service because of the way that you're on your journey, and people really, they love relating. People will be watching this. I'll be keen to see what people comment and say and see, because they'll be like, fuck, I love Linda's story. It's really humbling story that you've got. And you literally were there from one of the earlier points in the business. Maybe staff number 5 or 10 or something. We had some people that come and go, whatnot, but we've been through thick and thin together over the years, right? Lots of things that have gone on. And it's cool. You've helped, there's so many people, thousands of people, I'd say, that you've spoken to. They've gone and either bought a property with us, bought 20 properties with us, didn't buy anything with us, done it on their own, and can relate to Linda and be like, I used to call the phone and Linda would answer it after 2 or 3 rings, right? And you'd pick up the phone and go, how can I help you? Oh, look, I understand how you feel. Nathan's busy, Dan's busy, but look, I'm in the same sort of position. This is what I feel. And, your journey has been so relatable, and there's so many people's successes that have started off the back of you having a conversation with them. And it's you should be really touched. I see it nowadays, and it's I don't even think about it because it's so far beyond in the distance. But as we walk through memory lane, your journey, 10 in 3 months, right? I'm a corporate on 500 grand a year. It's a real humble story. So You've got 10 properties in 3 months. You've gone on and built a large portfolio. You've gone on the news. Kochie was a dick. Linda's like, I love this guy. Kochie's my favourite mate, right? He's the loveliest guy.
I was so excited to see him.
Just so excited to see him, right? And he goes, oh, you're going to go broke. How much debt do you have? You can't make money in properties. Should think about all the fear that's in it, right? So what the fuck is this guy on, right? Still to this day, right? And here we are, with your portfolio. We're at a position now. I spoke to you about 4 years ago. We're driving to Queensland. We're doing something. I forget what it was. I think we're going to the office in Queensland. We're doing some changes up there or something. Mm-hmm. And I asked you, what are your goals? And you said, I want to retire. What are your retirement goals? Because we can look back on this in 5 years' time and make sure we get there, and everyone's going to hold me accountable for making sure Linda gets there safely. Yeah, so.
My retirement goal, we've always wanted to retire in Queensland,
mm-hmm.
not too far north because it'll be too hot, close to an airport, close to the water because my husband loves fishing.
Yeah.
I love the beach. I love sunrise, sunset. Reason we need to be close to an airport is my kids are growing up, so they may not want to be in Queensland with us. They might stay in Sydney. So I'm already forecasting I'm going to be a grandmother one day. So if my kids stay in Sydney, I want my grandchildren to come and see us. I want them to have fun. I want to be that cool grandparents that take them to the beach, take them fishing, swim, surf, whatever it need to be.
Yeah.
And then till I can't work anymore, and I'm not doing this as a suck up, I'm going to be working for you till I officially retire.
Thank you. I know that. I'm very humbled and blessed to have you, Linda, for the last 12 years. So we moved to Queensland. What would that look like? Like, say we retire tomorrow and we're not working the business. What sort of income, do you want? How do you think we're going to get there? We've talked briefly about it. This is like a bit of a map session, I feel like we refine it.
I think I'm going to say to you what I said to you when I first met you. It was Dan. Dan asked me, how much passive income do you want?
Yeah.
And I remember saying to him, I'm Asian. So if I sit here and I say 100K right now, when you get me close to 80, I'll want 200. You get me to 150, I want 300. So I don't want to put a number on it. I want us to be comfortable, not have to worry about money, to have all our bills paid off. If the grandkids want to go to New Zealand on a trip, we'll just go, let's go.
Yeah.
Not to sit there and go, okay, we've got to save for another 3 years before we can actually travel. So just not to have any burden.
We've sold some properties of yours over the years, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So your house, so you've got the unit, then you got the house. Did you take any kids home as the first house of that house? Like the red brick house, the one?
We had one.
You had one kid and you had one kid at that house, yeah? So...
Actually, no, we had both the kids there before we moved out.
So it's a sentimental thing, right? You take the kid home, you got the kid in the house, like, I don't want to let go of this house. They scribble on the wall, right? Whatever. Without a hesitation, like, we wanted to get you onto acreage. We're looking at different acreages, and we got you a place. Tell us about your house that you live in.
Wow. We actually were looking for about a year before you found our place. Nathan actually found our dream home for now. So with the budget that we have, we were going as far as Wiseman's Ferry and how far north? Morelia. We're going that far because we couldn't afford anything closer to Broken Hills.
Windsor to Wiseman's Ferry.
Yeah, and it was going to be a very rundown home because we wanted 5 acres, 3 to 5 acres. That was our dream when we were dating. So we used to drive up and down Annan Grove Road during the weekend, during our uni breaks.
We're not going to tell people exactly where you live, by the way, okay? No. So leave that suburb out. It's a very classy suburb. It's the top of them, right? It's the top of the suburbs in a very expensive street where you live, yeah?
And I'll share the story on when you actually found that place for us too. So we used to drive up and down Annan Grove Road. It was our dream. But as time goes by, we have the children. We bought the 3 brick home, and anything that was acreage was way too expensive, so we couldn't afford it. Then, of course, once we started our journey with Nathan, it became a reality. And Nathan, you actually said to me, sell some property so that you can move into your acreage. Yeah. And I still remember saying to you, you told me it's buy and hold. Yeah. So why am I selling anything? I want to hold on to all those properties plus buy my dream home, which was not affordable. Yeah. So we ended up selling. Yeah. And then, I remember one night very distinctly, husband was cooking dinner and then my phone was going off. It was around 8:30 and it just kept pinging. And then it was just ding, 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 something? And I'm going, hey, babe, Nathan's on the phone. And he goes, what's up? And he goes, and I said to him, I said, I think he's found us our dream home. And he goes, oh, okay, where is it? And then I told him the area, the street, and then
it's like a very exclusive street in an exclusive area, yeah?
Yeah,
It's not in like Swampyville or
I thought you were kidding when you sent it through. I thought, what a tease. He knows we've been looking for about a year, and now he's sending us this prestigious street and go, hey, I found your dream home.
How many stories is your house?
3.
3 stories, right? Is
Yeah.
it what material is it made out of?
Double brick.
Double brick house. There we go. 3-story double brick house.
Yeah.
And it's like an old school sort of castle-y type of house. It's big.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. So I told my hubby about it, and then he goes, tell him to F off. We can't afford this place. And then I said, hey, Nathan, this is what Loy said. And then he's like, what if I can make it affordable? We had to push our limit because we had a budget, and you said if we push that a little bit more, you're going to be able to get this place.
What did we pay for it? I can't remember what we paid for it. Like, was it like
1.3.
1.3. 1.3. Like, I thought I was thinking 1.2 in my head, right?
I wish. But yeah, no.
But you just like, who was selling it? Who was the vendor?
It was this lady. Her husband passed away.
What was he, like a doctor?
Doctor.
Like, so a high up doctor, right? You're here just average mum and dad moving into a big doctor's castle, right? And it was a deceased estate that we got. The lady couldn't handle the size of it or something like that.
No, it was the will. The children from the first marriage kicked her out.
Okay.
It was horrible.
That's right. I remember.
Yeah,
I remember.
it was very horrible.
And then, so it's a bit messy, right? Nothing in life ever easy to get to where you want to be. Yeah, your first house that you lived in, fucking see you later, right? Let's get out of it, right? We have to sell it, right? And then I think, did we say to sell a unit that you had, like a Cairns property?
We sold a couple of Cairns property. Yep.
So, and my view was that like those properties, when we sell them, your cash flow position would be the same as without having it. And it was like, okay, well, we sell a couple and they've done their job. They're like a tool to get us to the next stage. And yeah, I was randomly looking in your suburb recently. I was randomly looking at a suburb and I couldn't believe my eyes. I saw 3 houses in her street for sale, right? There was a shit one for 3 and there's 2 others for 5 and offers over 5. And I'm like, that's cool. I said, you could like literally just go to Queensland right now and have your portfolio paid out for and just be having pina coladas in the Bahamas and, enjoying life. But that I think that, I don't know, like, how do you feel knowing that you can do that, but you don't do it? Like, how do you feel? Like, just like, does it give you a sense of like, fuck yeah?
It feels secure.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? If we have to sell, we'll sell.
Yeah.
And I'll just move back to my first unit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's our backup plan. If everything goes
so you still
to
got your first unit? Yeah.
That's my sentimental one.
Okay.
Because I was proposed there. So I wanted to keep that place. Whereas the second place, by then I've already learned from you, don't get emotional, don't get attached. So it was just a three bedroom brick home.
3-bedroom. You went from a 3-bedroom red brick home to a castle, 5 acres, exclusive street, doctor's castle. How cool is that? And now we're going to get you a house on the water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So, with a jetty.
With a jetty.
One story.
One story. And a couple of blocks of units I need to throw in there. I want
whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to also go through your property for a portfolio review after this as well. Like, I want us to remind me to do that because I want to look at something.
Yep.
Cool. And that's all in a period of like 13 years, right? Like, you said you wanted to get there in 10 or 13. You're there in 3 months. And technically for the last, 5 years or so, you've just been like, oh, that's all right, So what would be your biggest, say someone's starting out today, what would be like 3 fears that you had and 3 tips that you could give to people to close off on?
My fear factor was the money side of things, having huge debt.
Yeah.
I still remember my heart jumping out of my chest when I was signing $500,000 away. Whereas now, like when we signed our dream home, we're like, oh my goodness, we used to freak out when we're signing $500,000 loan. Yeah. And now we're signing 80% of that. It was like crazy. We didn't even sweat. So yeah, take the fear out. I think my biggest thing is like, see your end goal. Because I'll use my son. He's 18 now. So I'm actually teaching him going, don't worry about the journey. What's your end goal? So he told me what his end goal is. So now we're working backwards to get him to start on portfolio with Nathan as soon as he saves his deposit so that he can take his journey and get there. Next fear factor is like buying a property with you. I didn't know who you were.
Yeah.
You were just some guy that has lots of properties.
Yeah.
And I remember saying to you, how do I want to be the cream, get all the cream crops from you.
Yeah.
And then you said to me, there's no cream. Every property is amazing. So it's just trusting the journey, trusting what you can do.
And just on that note, sorry, so you got one more fear thing and 3 tips afterwards. But just you've bought property, you've sold a couple, you've had different types of properties, houses, units, villas, whatever. Would you say if you look at your whole portfolio that there's been like a specific one? I know you got one that's your favourite just because it's like a cool little one. Like there's a few there, but like the same. But has there been like, when you look at the whole portfolio, looking back, was it the house that was outperforming the unit, or a little one in the regional area, or one in Cairns? Like have they all had their own little quirkiness that's brought you to where you are today? Or
Absolutely. They all did their thing. I thought I would have a favourite, but I don't because some of them doubled in price, plus the rent went up. One I got for $30,000 and it was collecting $280 a week rent. So that did its own thing, but it wasn't in the best area. So they all had their, pros and cons.
You had one burned down too, didn't you?
Yes, that's the one.
So how much did you pay for it?
All up was
$30,000 for a house, renting for how much?
$280, I think.
$280 a week, and it burnt down. Oh, poor dude, I'm sorry to hear about that. Did you get insurance payout?
Yes.
How much did you get? Roughly.
I think it was 2 something.
200.
Yep.
Even on your worst case scenario, they offered all about that thing, right?
Yeah.
Even on your worst case scenario day, you almost 10x your money. The fucker burnt down. There we go. If you were at a barbecue today and you told people this, they'd think you're a liar.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. It's funny.
But I think not everyone gets it.
No.
Not everyone gets it.
No.
And it's okay.
No.
Yeah, it's okay.
What was another fear you had?
It was just debt. It was the debt I think would be my biggest fear, just being in debt, because the Asian mentality, you don't want to have debt.
Yeah.
But what I've learnt with you is that you're using someone else's money to grow your portfolio, to grow your wealth. So it's not actually debt. So just changing that mindset.
If you didn't get the debt, you would have saved up for another 10 years and you'd be here and you'd be like, Nathan, can you buy me a house? One more, right?
Yep.
And we're now talking about the packets of chips, right? It's like, I'll buy 2 of these. It's like, I'll have 4 of them. It's like you're ordering lunch. And, that's really cool. And I'm looking forward to the next phase. We're not going to go into, Linda's given a lot away today with, what your journey's been and what you've been doing and all that sort of stuff. So I'll leave it at that. 3 tips that you could leave with people? Any specific things, like someone getting started, or a younger version of yourself, or a young kid, or old person, or whoever?
I think the biggest tip is having a vision what you want. Everyone's different. Mm-hmm. So, know what you want to achieve. So if I go to clients, some clients just want to have enough of their wife not to work, and that's their goal. Some people want to buy a yacht and travel in Greece. So know what you want, not what everyone else has got or what Nathan's got. Whatever that is, work towards that.
Yeah.
Don't see debt as a fear. Don't fear debt. I think that's opposite to my fear.
Yeah.
And just trust. Trust the journey.
Say that with a disclaimer around it, right? Make sure that you have clarity, right? Like, you trusted when you had clarity. You came in with the bag, and I still remember, like, Linda was like, "Oh," it was like she was holding it like it was like a fine piece of crystal jewelry.
I had to pay $150 to make an appointment. Of course, that was fine crystal. I was like, I paid to go see someone to put me into debt.
Those people that Linda was going to buy the property off, they were getting paid $50,000 for selling her the off-the-plan property. There's a difference between why we had to charge her, because we don't get paid by anyone. We get paid by the results we get. But the people that Linda was going to buy from, the property wouldn't even be worth. What was it that you're looking at roughly? Do you remember?
Don't remember.
Was
But
it
I
NRAS?
remember it was about 30K deposit just to get started. And I remember saying, no, it was 50,000 to put a deposit down.
Yeah.
And then I said to him, that doesn't make sense. I've only got, at that point, I only had 50,000.
Yeah.
I said, why am I putting 50,000 and you're not going to build that unit till 2 years later? And I said, so you're going to make interest out of me, there was about 100 units in there. And I said, it doesn't make sense to me. I go, what if I give you 5,000 to commit and then I'll give you the rest when you start building, and he wouldn't take it. So that
Other
didn't make
people's
sense.
money. You were someone
It
else's
was my
bank.
money. Yeah,
You were the
it was
bank.
my money he was taking. So yeah.
Cool. Like there's like, so you trust, but like if things make sense, the numbers stack up, pull the trigger. If they don't stack up, the numbers don't lie. Follow what's right and make sure. I think what's been great for your success, Linda, is knowing your clarity and your vision of what you need to do and where you need to be. And that's been, a guide stone that you can go, okay, no, that's going to take me away. That's going to take me onto it. And so cool. Thanks, Linda. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Congratulations. And I'm so wrapped. Like, this is like a big thing for Linda to get out of her comfort zone to hop on a podcast. It's like she's very, very, to herself nowadays on that front. She doesn't go and throw herself out there and go, check out my Rolex and look at how cool I am. I've got a mad sports car. None of that stuff. So, so thanks for that, Linda. And if you guys, have questions, drop us a comment. You can email us at admin@binvested.com.au if it's a specific question for Linda. Linda doesn't have the role where she answers everyone's calls now. She's got a management role in the business. But if you do have a question for Linda, don't put a personal question in an email, but just say, hey, I want to send Linda an email. Send it to the admin@binvested email, and we'll go from there. So if you like the video, make sure you share it, like it, and subscribe. You can find us every Thursday on Apple Play, Google Play, and Spotify and YouTube. We'll catch up soon. Have a great week. Bye for now.
Like Bilal said, man, we stuck in the matrix. This my advice, don't care if you take it. The dollar back to die, soon to be hyperinflated.